Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know.
I feel so bad for you guys. I'm going to stay nice and warm over here for you, okay?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me see what's the temp, because I know you always like to know. What's the temperature? It is -5 Celsius, which is 23 Fahrenheit right now, and it is clear skies.
Wow, that is freezing cold. I mean, I don't think I've ever experienced that. Not even when I was in New York, I experienced that. So that's pretty bad. Is it snowing? It's snowing, right? You guys
No, it's not. It's not snowing right now. You need clouds for it to snow. Although, a couple of years when I first moved here, my first winter here, and I saw it again last year. It was so cold out here that even though it was blue sky out, not a cloud in the sky, it was still snowing ice because of the way the wind and the temperature was going. It was nuts.
Wow.
Geraldine, you hold on, sweetie, because we only got like 10 seconds here before we're going to launch tonight's show. Thank you, Long Island Bigfoot, for the super chat. It's a great way to support this show. And you can get your new swag at the SOR Vault, facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Here we go. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Not going to lie, my hair looks fantastic tonight. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram @Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. For the final time of 2020, yes, we now have to say that with some of our regulars, Geraldine Orozco is back for the Spiritual You. Now, Geraldine is the owner of Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco, California, which specializes in corporate wellness programs for Silicon Valley techs, including Google, Facebook, Instagram, and more. She facilitates DNA reprogramming sessions and retreats internationally. She is a speaker. She has a podcast, currently writing a book. This girl does it all. I mean, how she has a free moment to do this show, I don't know. But we love her around here. Her website, actually, she's got two, BayAreaMeditation.com as well as GeraldineOrozco.com. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, we're going to join the shift with Shane right across Canada. We got the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Geraldine Orozco, always a pleasure to have you here. And the final time of 2020. I cannot believe it. But
I can't believe it either.
We're close to the finish line on this year. We are close.
I think we're kind of looking forward to it and also looking forward to the future, to moving forward with everything. And I'm so happy to be here, Dave. Thank you so much for having me again, as usual. And hello and welcome to everyone that's tuning in. Love you guys so much.
Well, we love you too. We do. And, the fact that you and I were talking right before showtime, I'm very excited to announce that you will be continuing this monthly schedule with us in 2021. And that is huge for us because you are one of the more popular guests we have on this show. And I think you bring everything that we look for on a monthly basis with the spiritual side of everything. And you have a great talent. Your voice needs to be heard. And we're glad we're a home for you.
Oh, it's such an honor to hear that. I am humbled and so happy to be on this platform, and I hope to do it justice because what you're doing on this platform is huge, Dave. I mean, your commitment, you are on here every night just, speaking truth and sharing the knowledge and wisdom that is so necessary right now, and you're amazing. So from all of us, I know we owe you a thank you for that.
Well, this is kind of the exact compliments I get all the time. This is from Alaska's greatest athlete, Ladybug Bigelow. And I know a little bit of her personal story. And when I say this, trust me, this young lady is a winner. She is a champion, and she knows that. But the public needs to know that, too. And she says, Geraldine, you are one of my favorite women on YouTube. I adore you. Listen to every one of your videos. Found you from Alba's hypno sessions, and she threw in a couple of big hearts.
Oh my gosh, you are so sweet. I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please let me know how I can serve you in any way, because you guys are what really, honestly, keep me going, keep me focused, and remind me all the time, the reason for everything that I do and why I'm involved in all these things. So I'm grateful to you. You guys mean so much to me, really. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate that. Now, we always have new listeners, as you know, because we are a show that is ever growing and getting more and more popular every time you are on. For people who may not know your story, let's give a brief synopsis of who Geraldine Orozco is.
All right. Well, just a quick review. I am the owner of Bay Area Meditation, and we specialize in corporate meditation programs. I've been teaching meditation for over 12 years here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I also early on became certified in pranic and quantum energy healing, which allowed me to understand a little bit more about how our will and our mind help us heal the body and how we are in charge of it. But that didn't really make as much sense until 2013, when I had a contact experience, interdimensional extraterrestrial contact experience. And that's when I was introduced to my hybrid children, to children that were presented as my own, and taken on board craft, and was face to face with tall grays. Now, before this very day, I never even spoke the word alien or even was interested in the topic. So it completely changed my paradigm. And what's more is that the very next Monday, the very next day, I realized that I had activated psychic abilities, where I had the ability of tuning into people, seeing their multidimensional body, everything that I had learned, through a textbook of pranic energy and how the energy moves through the body and the runways of energy. I could now see, not only see, but feel, see, and read and understand what was there. So it completely changed my life. And even though I kept in the corporate world and in my entrepreneur business for a few years, in 2017, I decided to, 16 actually, I decided to sell the business and get hypnotherapy. And that's when everything came up. I became aware of contact experience that was going all the way back to the age of 5. And, I began to channel some information that was just, very profound about the historic lineages and how our human race is seated on this planet by way of 3 main bloodlines that have kind of been preserved through history and kind of developed into what we have now as a human race. And so this really made me completely deconstruct all of the thoughts and programs that I had about our historical timeline, about society, politics, culture, religion, everything went up and down. So there were several existential crises, and in that I found myself. I found the true essence of my soul through work, through meditation, through deprogramming, and through looking and searching for truth. I unraveled some incredibly life-changing experience. So now I teach and I work teaching this topic and training people to do what I do, to see the multidimensional body so that they too can harness the incredible superpower of the human mind for healing, for transformation, and for co-creation, which is what we're here to do. So this is what I do, and here we are.
As you developed your own path in this very, very competitive market for trying to help people find their Zen, their Chi, their inner self, what has been the biggest difficulty you have had in trying to get your message through?
I think the biggest difficulty is the doubt in the self, the little ideas and the little limitations that we tend to come across. Really, and the reason why I say this is because looking at my history, and some of you have been following along this show for some time, so you've heard a lot of the experiences that I've had in coming out, speaking on these topics, interesting experiences that have happened, some of them traumatic, some of them, just very life-changing experiences. But I believe that, we co-create. We literally help co-create every experience that's happening to us. And so through this process, the interesting process personally has been going through an evolutionary transition from a state of thinking that we are in a state of victimism into a state of empowerment. And for me, the spiritual work is very much a personal thing. It's a very personal transformation and journey. So even though we are conditioned to look outside of us or reach outside of us for support, for communication or help, guidance at times, the truth is that some of this work, you're never quite going to find someone that really matches to the same journey, the same level, because your story is unique, your experiences are unique, and they're unique for a reason. Every single one of the things that you overcome help create not just a unique vibrational signature of who you are, but they equip you for what you're here to do, for the gifts that you have to give the world. So I think one of the most powerful lessons and things that have been difficult in the journey is to understand that constant up and down, that wave, that dance between coming in and being a teacher and the student at the same time through that journey. And really that's about it, because at the end of the day, when you come into your highest expression and you're in alignment with yourself, everything falls into place. You have the clients that you need to meet are manifested with you, opportunities that you need are there, because you know who you are and you know what you're there to do. And when you're in that place of authenticity and you're not coming from a place of ego or trying to get wealthy or trying to get famous, it's just for a place of truth. I think that really, truly, the world conspires with you to co-create. And I think that's one of the most incredible lessons I've experienced throughout this process.
I just have a message for you from Marty on Twitter here, one of our favorite veterans who listens to this show. And trust me, we love our veterans around here.
I love Marty, yeah.
And Marty says, since Geraldine is your guest tonight, and she is from the Bay Area, I thought I would tell you about something funny that happened to me over this past weekend. I went to the grocery store to pick up a few items. As I was leaving there was a 6-foot-tall caroler with his red donation kettle in his elf costume, ringing a bell, but he was singing I Left My Heart in San Francisco instead of Christmas songs like Jingle Bells or Santa Claus Comes to Town. I don't know if anyone put any cash in his kettle, but it sure did seem to be out of place, especially as he was really belting out the song. I was thinking at the time, dude, you had just one job to do. That is awesome. That's
hilarious.
That is completely awesome. And I just have to change the topic for one quick second, because a lot of the audience members in our chat rooms and on Twitter are wondering, Dave, how are you feeling after my big wipeout on the ice coming down my stairs? And I did go to the doctors today. I went to the hospital, got myself checked out. I slept very well, and woke up, was able to get out of bed, not much pain at all. So I went to the doctors today because I was feeling a little sore and just wanted to make sure I didn't break anything. And he diagnosed me with major bruising, told me to go to a chiropractor to straighten things out, and as well as get in some massage therapy. I'm up for that, so that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, we're so happy to hear that you're okay, Dave, and it's not something worse than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know because you've only seen snow for like 38 minutes of your life. So
yes, ow. I know.
But I mean, it's all good. We're gonna be good. I'm gonna be healthy, and I want to give a special. Good. I do want to give a special thanks to Goddess Michelle on Twitter, because during the show last night, she messaged me, and I'm a big believer in Reiki. Mm-hmm. And I never believed in Reiki until a number of years ago when I first had it done on me. And and it is an amazing energetic healing. And at one point, I could actually feel her hands right on my sore spot of my back. I could feel it.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
And so I think she had a great part of that. So thank you, Goddess Michelle, for the Reiki. And it was very well worth it, very well needed. And I think it really helped me out today. So a big shout out to the Goddess herself. We love her around here.
Yes, shout out to her and all the healers that are doing such good work. Look, where would we be without you?
Right.
So thank you for that. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the healing side, because this is something you do as well with healing. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of people who listen to this, Geraldine, who say, look, you know, you can't heal somebody if you're not in the room, or you can't heal somebody. Like, I'm in British Columbia. Goddess Michelle is in Nova Scotia. There's literally about, 3,800 miles, 4,000 miles between us. And yet healing can happen that way. How does that work?
Absolutely. Well, that's such an important question, but how it works is basically the exact same way that we work. We are holographic systems, and the way holographic systems communicate with one another is with quantum non-locality. You don't need to be in the same exact place in order to affect something that's across the world. We are interconnected in such a profound way that we have the ability not just of telecommunicating, but we can also send and direct energy, light, frequency, and time, space, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You can transcend all of that with this energy and the direction of that energy. So, and another thing that I'd like to mention that's even more important than that is, the laws of and the mechanics of healing, really. Because when we talk about healing, even though we have facilitators like myself, that hold space for healing and we direct, in reality, that healing would not work if you were not, number one, in agreement to that healing, and number two, you yourself believe or at least know that you're capable of healing yourself. If you are completely out of alignment with what you're experiencing, or there's some subconscious doubt, it's not going to have the same effect as it would when you are open and, in a place of vulnerability and openness to the healing. So it's incredibly important to know and remember that who does the healing is really you. You are the one that's healing yourself, and it's through the wonderful support and facilitation of some healers that help guide you, direct you, remind you of your healing ability to heal. So I do healings, internationally, people all around the world, and I know that Reiki is huge. I mean, there are groups of hundreds of people around the world that do send Reiki. They have healing circles. In hospitals in Russia, it's really huge that the actual hospital has Reiki centers, that they send Reiki healing to people that are, requiring support. It's all about energy. It's all about intention. The intention is the most important thing, and that doesn't need to be, the time and space would not limit the delivery of that.
Okay, so for people who may not know what Reiki is, explain to them as your heater goes on, and, because, we can't have it below 73 degrees in your house,
I'm sorry, Dave. I turned that off, and I'm so sorry you didn't hear that.
I'm just laughing right now because, it's like 23 degrees Fahrenheit out here on the studios, 5 degrees Celsius. And our good friend Geraldine the other day posted a picture of her in the shivering temperatures of 55 degrees Fahrenheit, where at 55 degrees Fahrenheit, I could tell you right now, everyone in Canada would be wearing shorts. And probably jumping into the lake for a swim. So that's kind of how it all goes. But no, I just love teasing you about it. It's one of my favorite quirks that I have with you, my friend.
Okay. Trying to keep it 70 in my house, okay? But I did turn off that heater, and maybe I didn't do it properly. I'm so sorry. But anyway, let me go back to your question. What is Reiki? Reiki is how should I put this? It is moving, intentionally directing life force energy is what Reiki is. So when we are intentionally moving, we are constructed of these holographic structures of light, liquid, sound, frequency, vibration. That's what our human bodies are. Our entire human organism is moving through dimensional layers in which the frequencies turn, the information in from wavelengths to sound to color that we can see. It's reflected off something to create a color, and it goes into the physical body as a crystalline light. We have actually an entire system of runways of energy that move through the body. And then when it solidifies, it becomes your bones, right? Your bone structure, which we can call a crystalline structure. And so all of this is a combination of vibrational frequency that we can move in and out of. We can heal, we can direct energy. So what Reiki is moving with that exact same life force energy from which you are made out of, into areas that have stagnation, that have blocked energy in the body, in order to release, heal, and create openings, expansive. Because anything that is rejecting itself or it's contractive is creating blockages in the body. When we come into expansion, when we come into that balanced self, you're beginning to open up any kind of blockages of energy. And what I mean by that, without sounding too abstract, is basically just stuck emotions, unprocessed trauma, or thought forms that you are not processing. Okay. So that's what it means. And so all of that over time solidifies, sometimes in the body, into lower vibrational frequencies where it can become a pain or an ache in your back. And it's very interesting. The more that you learn to connect with the pain or the stagnation that you feel, the blockages, whether they are thought blockages or physical blockages, you can communicate with them. You can focus on them and just see what comes up. And when you do, it'll give you so much information that allows you to understand what you're holding on to that needs to be released. So Reiki is a wonderful technique to move the energy through the body. And we can do Reiki on ourselves, and we can do Reiki on others, only with others' permission, of course. There are some wonderful courses that you can learn if you'd like to learn into that, how to do that. But the techniques are not difficult, and they're widely used even in the medical field, as I was mentioning before.
Okay, so the fact that there are medical practitioners using this in other countries, but maybe not in the western part of Europe and here in North America, why is this still, in your opinion, a taboo healing subject? Is it because it doesn't involve medicine? That if we tap into our brain, anybody can do this? Fill me in.
It's actually not a taboo. There actually are. There's a hospital here in my city actually that has a Reiki practitioner on staff that does provide Reiki for cancer patients. So really, Dave, the good news is, the very exciting, wonderful news is that we're actually now becoming more comfortable with the topic, and that's because of the thousands of studies that have been made on energy work, energy healing, pranic energy healing, Reiki healing, that has been scientifically proven with photography, with video, with many different tools, has been captured the effects of how Reiki and intention, directed intention, is affecting well-being. There's an incredible book that I would invite you all to study by Claude Swanson called Life Force Energy, a Scientific Review, I believe it's called. Definitely check that out. I mean, it's like 500 pages of research, that has been done around the world, and also in the United States, of course, on the benefits of this. So I think it's coming more into mainstream science. And as with, unfortunately, because of the systematic implementation and the governing and monopoly of the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry in our society, a lot of these things that are more natural, that are more holistic, oftentimes are, shoved aside to be something as, not as effective as pharmaceuticals. And you guys have to understand, you have to remember that there's a reason behind that. When there's money and there's several organizations behind this, you're going to be informed in a different way. So we have to inform ourselves. And really, a lot of these holistic healing practices are fantastic and beneficial and free for you to use, whenever you need it. So moving energy through the body is something that is available to you at any time.
Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You on Spaced Out Radio. We continue right after this, and we're going to take a look into December. What is coming? What can we see with meditation with the beautiful and talented Geraldine Orozco at GeraldineOrozco.com.
Thank you, Dave. Let me go see what I did wrong with that.
No, it's all good.
Sure?
It's all good. Don't worry about it, girl. Don't worry about it.
Is it very loud? Oh my gosh. Okay. I turned it off. I probably didn't push the button all the way to the other side the way I should have.
Oh, that's okay. You probably got it up to 140 degrees right now.
I wish. No, it's not. I'm trying to keep it at 68.
Oh, yes. Well, this is a time of night where I like to tell our listeners that this beautiful beard that I got going on is brought to you by Mighty Moose Beard Oil right there. Oh, wow. All you got to do is go to mightymoosebeard.com, tell Gary he's Dutch, and, you drop the SOR 2019 code in there, and he's going to give you a 10% discount. Remember, if you're in the United States, you're paying in Canadian funds. So all you do is take this, drop it in your hand like so. And this stuff just isn't for men. No. Because you can shine up your beard a little bit, right? I also, and Gary recommends it since everything is all natural in this, is put some in your hair. It's good for the roots. It's good for the ends. Make sure you don't get split ends. And you know how we all like this. We got to make sure our hair looks good. Geraldine's even going to go get some. MightyMooseBeard.com. Tell the Dutchman that you heard him on Spaced Out Radio. Use the code SOR 2019, and we'll get things going there for you. That's it. That's all you need.
I love that. I'm going to have to get some of that, too.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it smells pretty good. His winter blend, the winter blend, is actually beautifully smelling. It smells fantastic.
Wow. Okay. Got to get some of that.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a link below, Dave?
I will send it to you right now.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go to our little chatty poo here. MightyMooseBeard.com. There you go.
Very nice. Very good. Get some of that.
Oh, and don't forget our other commercial of the night here. Our other commercial that when you buy a T-shirt at the SOR Vault, going to Facebook.com/the SOR Vault, you get yourself a free piece of autographed coaxial cable, courtesy of Cable Guy Matt. You cannot buy these in stores, people. You do get them, though, one per order, if you go and pick up a T-shirt today. We got a bunch of orders that we have that we're just in the process of getting them made, and all of those wonderful people are going to get an autographed piece of this coaxial cable here with Cable Guy Matt. Remember, you cannot buy these in stores. Limit one per purchase. There we go. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That looks amazing. Now, please excuse this question, but what is that for? That wonderful cord that you have there. Yes.
Well, you'll I used to work with a guy. Okay, God bless his soul. He's passed away from cancer now. But he would announce on our phone system, our internal phone system, so everybody would hear it. And he would have these keychains, and he would say, see Dave for these keychains. Remember, folks, you can't buy these in stores. So it's my little tribute to one of my mentors, Jay, who's now on the other side. And so I just kind of implemented it with Cable Guy Matt, and it just works. It just works.
That's awesome. I love it. I'm going to have to get one of those too. I need a t-shirt, Dave.
You do need a t-shirt.
I got to get one of those. We got to get on camera with our t-shirts one of these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll give you the link to that too.
Okay. And you put it in the YouTube chat too.
I will. Corin's the booking guy will take care of that.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Corin's the booking guy is my rock during the show.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you.
There you go. Got some good stuff there. All right, we got 1 minute here. I want to say thank you to Long Island Bigfoot and Lady Ann for the super chats to kick things off. Remember, a great way to support this show is by hitting that subscribe button. We passed 9,400 sometime today and overnight, and we're at 9,407. That means we need 593 to go before we hit that 10,000 mark, which I would love to hit by the end of this year. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. I don't know. That's just an ego thing. I want 10,000. That's an ego thing. And so, if you haven't done so, we'd appreciate it. Vintage Beard, how you doing? Good to see you. Vinny Barbarino, welcome. Carla Fuentes, you were looking beautiful tonight. How are you? She's like, who the hell is this guy? Hi, Goddess Michelle in our chat room on YouTube as well. And, so I think we're caught up there. But Geraldine's here. All right, let's do this right now.
Yeah.
Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. I'm sitting here in SOR headquarters. Not as bundled up as Geraldine is in San Francisco, where it's 55 degrees. God, what I would do for 55 degrees right now. Oh, my goodness. Hey, I want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Geraldine Orozco is here for the Spiritual You, and we continue on with her. And you know what, Geraldine? Since the last time you were on, I forgot to update you on this.
Oh, tell me.
I don't know about you, but I love the chiropractor. I love my chiropractor. And the last time you were on, and actually the last few months, I've had troubles breathing out of my nose because my son and I were wrestling one day, and my face was coming up, his heel was coming down, and he broke my nose.
Oh my gosh! Yes, you told me. I remember.
Yes. Okay, so I went to my chiropractor because I can't breathe out of my nose, and that's one of those important things in life is breathing. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but it's kind of important for what we do.
Sometimes it's really important. Yeah.
Exactly. So I asked my chiropractor. I said, "Do you ever straighten noses out?" I said, "Because my nose is pretty busted up." And I said, I could really, really, use some help here. I can't breathe out of the damn thing. And he's like, yeah, man, I do some nose. Because he's an old hockey player. He understands the mess.
Really?
He understands the mess. So literally, he takes his fingers like this, okay, grabs it on my nose, way up here, and he goes, snap, snap, and I can breathe out of my nose now. I can breathe out of my nose.
Gosh. Yeah. That is unbelievable. Really? And weren't you scared?
No.
It didn't hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. But, so I can officially breathe out of my nose again. And I'm pretty happy about that. But that's enough about me. Let's get back to you here because you're kind of we're like Beauty and the Beast. I mean, I'm the beast. You're the beauty of this show. And we're going to get into meditation. And we're going to get into a personal meditation that you've been going through lately. So take us to this story.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. As I know some of you that follow me in my work, I really promote meditation and connection to your higher self and communication with the higher self. And oftentimes when I tap in, I tend to get a lot of messages and information and about, our current times, what we're going through, and just to tap into the energy that is kind of surrounding ourselves, not just personally and in the moment, but also globally, so we can kind of understand what's happening in the bigger picture. And, for this month, I really focused on some messages that kept coming up over and over again. So I'd really love to share them with you about what is happening over the next, we're coming into this next year, 2021, and also December, how to prepare, for the things that are coming up ahead. So we're going to start with, there's several topics. I want to start from the outside in. We're going to talk about deconstructing in order to reconstruct. So we're kind of coming, we hear me talk a lot about deprogramming, but we're going to take that to a little deeper level this month. We're going to start with this month coming into 2021, when we're going into what we know as the Aquarian, the official, supposedly, Aquarian age, which is a time of transformation, movement, fluid, and integration of the self. And the changes that are going to be coming over the next year are focused a lot on money. So, banks, whether the movement of money, moving of major assets internationally in other countries like South Asia, India, and the Middle East. Okay, a lot of movements there. And what we're doing is we're looking at how things are going to be shifting in order to create change for, I guess, the implementation of next step. We are looking at a unified kind of government is what's kind of being wanted at this time. So we just want to kind of take a look at our protection of our own personal assets, our money. Where is our money? Just being aware of where that is, what's going on there, and always making sure that we have enough extra just in case, just saved up somewhere under your pillow or wherever you keep your money, just so that you are protected in case anything occurs in that department. Another thing that's really coming up is, where we put our money and where we're spending money. I think with the holiday season, it's a really good time to kind of take a look at that. I mean, this year is unlike any other where, we're kind of really focusing on the priorities in our life. What's important for us and what are things that we don't need. Any aspect of our life that is in excess, out of balance, or, out of vanity or ego. All of those things that are made in those categories, those choices that are made in those categories will probably end up resulting in a lot more chaos and imbalance in your life. So just notice, whatever it is that you're doing, to make sure that you're checking it off, that you're really fully in alignment with those choices. Another thing that's happening in this coming year that's been coming up a lot is that I think that there's going to be an overcrowding in certain organizations. For example, inmates. I think that there will be some releases of inmates at some point throughout this year. And the call for programs and support of recovery of our fellow people is going to be very important. And it's something that any of you that work, whether as social workers or you're in the government, to try to focus on trying to create and gather groups of people that are willing to put together programs and support for recovery. We need to, and I know we talked about this a lot, but focus on those that are, lost in drugs, that are recovering from drugs, alcoholism, that are addicted, those addictions that try to pull them away from being balanced in their life. These are people that, they're usually escaping their emotions and their reality for a reason. So the way that we look at these people has to change, and we really have to kind of teamwork to help support and bring community around that. I think that's going to be important, because a lot of what's happening in the world has now kind of driven a lot of people to be even further dependent on those things in order to relieve anxiety, stress, depression, and the trauma that we're going to be kind of experiencing over the next year. because we're recovering from the isolation. A lot of people are going to be dealing with a lot of post-isolation trauma and kind of reintegrating back into society, going out, socializing with others. I mean, I get hundreds of emails, a day, and some of those emails are really, really asking for help and support in that department, where people feel that they feel anxiety now when it comes to going out or doing other things. So we really want to support one another, have open communications and conversations about how we can be there for one another, really in an authentic way, trying to let go of that ego, need to control, need for judgment, and really come into a place where we're opening to that. And that kind of takes me to my next my next topic, which we're talking about a much higher integration and embodiment of transformation. Okay, so a lot of you listening, I mean, you're already working so hard on yourselves. You're doing the work, you're meditating, you're very aware of all the things that are happening in the world around us. And I think that it's time to really take that awareness to the next step. Clarity is something that will come into play a lot. The energies of December and up until February are like, it's almost like a fresh air. It's like we come into this incredible cool night's air where we're calm, we're centered, we're focused, and we have the ability to really communicate clearly with our higher self. So I really advise you that you take the next 3 months, take advantage of that energy in order to connect with your higher self and really jot down and communicate with what's going on. Because later on in the year, there will be a lot of confusion, a lot of things happening. So you want to have that clarity in order for you to know how to navigate anything else that happens. I think another thing is how we manage our energy and how we're extending ourselves energetically and emotionally. Do not overextend yourself energetically to the point where you're depleting your energy, you're out of balance, you're giving too much from yourself. Your relationships, whether they're your romantic relationships, family relationships, notice where you are coming out of balance, and also be compassionate enough to notice when your partner is coming out of balance or your children are coming out of balance. Try to bring balance back into the home. Energetically, we're for this coming year, the movement of the sun, the Schumann resonance, has been going up and down tremendously during this last quarter of the year. And I think we're going to continue to see that. I think it's a shift, vibrational frequency, that we're dealing universally. We're coming into higher vibrational frequencies because it's almost as if time is speeding up. It's almost as if frequency is heightening. So our bodies are we're kind of tuning into that new global frequency. What you're experiencing, whether it's insomnia, this spiritual flu that we keep hearing about, where people have feeling soreness or tired, extreme exhaustion, all of that is because your body is coming into alignment with a new ray of frequency. And so for the next 3 months, focus on taking time as much as you can. That's why balance is important, to do things that will help you integrate that energy. And the sun plays a tremendous role in this. Your ability to connect with the sun, be in the sun, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day, you're actually picking up rays of frequency, rays of information, patterns of frequency that are reprogramming your body. It literally is like upgrades for your immune system, for your whole health. And we have to enhance our everyday practice, okay? So do the work, guys. It's really time to spend time doing that meditation, okay? We need to silence the monkey mind, right? That mind that's always judging, that's criticizing, that's intimidating, that's doing all those things in the background. We have to silence that so that we can begin to train our mind to now listen to the higher self. And anytime that we're in resistance, just come into a place of breathing, grounding, and observation. That's going to be your greatest tools for this year. Breathe, ground, observe. Don't judge, just observe what's happening. Another thing that's happening on the higher levels, and I'm seeing tremendous pickup in trend, is it's like we're starting a new slate. Everyone has an opportunity to start a new clean slate, especially in December, you guys. This energy is so powerful right now. Fix old karma with family. All the old dramas that have been happening in family, things that have been unresolved for years that you haven't been able to get through, it's almost as if the weight is lifting so that you have an opportunity to handle that. And you want to handle that in the beginning of the year before it starts getting into the summer, because the next is the integration of that. It's like everyone has an opportunity to embody a new identity. And that's another thing that's been coming up. We're reinventing ourselves. Okay? So if you're reinventing, if you're thinking about changing your career, if you're thinking about changing even the way you look like, or what you're doing, or how you feel, or the way that you see yourself, especially the way that you see yourself, that is an incredible opportunity that we're coming into. And in order to shift that, educate yourself. Educate yourself on the power of neutrality, the power of observation, of supporting your mind and your body and your soul. So that's another thing that's really important. And the last couple of things I want to talk about is children. Children are going to play a really big role in maintaining balance in our lives. And I know that sometimes we think of children as, running around full of energy and all this stuff, but listen to the messages that they have, because what I'm noticing, and I work with a lot of children, they are really channeling some interesting messages. And these are kids that are not really so much into meditation, just regular everyday kids that are out, in their schools. And, they're 1 minute they're playing PlayStation, the next minute they're channeling this incredible wisdom. Take the time to listen, because it's almost as if they themselves are activating ancient wisdom, okay? And we have the opportunity of tapping into that ancient wisdom too. If you're not around children, connect with yourself, connect with your wisdom that's coming through, okay?
What about connecting with your own inner child?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And that's exactly what I have written down here, is connecting with that inner child and speaking to that child. Because, when we're children, we're fully open. We don't have all of those fears, all of those blockages that we've kind of built up throughout life to protect ourselves. And we can see things more clearly. We kind of just observe things from the outside. And that kind of clarity helps you make decisions that are not biased or coming from fear. They let you kind of choose intuitively. And that's what we want to do. We want to come into an intuitive connection with ourselves and make choices from there. So the next final thing is you are all dimensions, okay? You are a multidimensional being. Please understand that you're multidimensional. And so I feel like we're going to hear a lot more about dimensional and holographic consciousness coming this year. I've been talking about this for a while, but I think it's going to be picking up, and people are going to really become aware of that as a reality. Your body is multidimensional. Your environment, you're communicating with your environment. So be aware of the things that you're feeling, the environment that's around you. Surround yourself with things that are contributing to maintaining peace, harmony, joy for you, that will inspire you to come into a state of love. That's very important. And get really clear about what love means in your life, because creative life force energy, love is the most powerful creative life force energy. And so if you can come into a state of love as much as possible, this is where your body will heal. It will become energized and aligned with the natural, orgasmic, orgone, creative life force energy of Earth. And, you're really tapping into that subtle balance of the feminine and masculine part of you that is in alignment with truth, with creation. So, work on that. Invest in yourself and focus on creating this identity that's necessary for who you are now. Okay, think of yourself as 2.0 in 2021. That's what we're kind of focusing on.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, you mentioned a very sensitive topic for a lot of us, as we have about 6 minutes to go here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour, and that is family. Family is a painful one with a lot of dirty secrets that, and a lot of anger, a lot of resentment that a lot of people hold. And I can tell you this, my family is no different than anybody else's. We're not close, all right? Mm-hmm. And here's one for you. My nephew got engaged like a week ago.
Wow.
And my sister didn't even call me to tell me. Still hasn't called me. Her oldest son gets engaged,
Well, congratulations to him.
Absolutely. I found out on Facebook, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fortunate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that stews inside of us. That
Right.
makes us angry and not want to attend holidays outside of, potentially future funerals or something like that where we have to, right? But
Yeah.
I say that facetiously, but I mean there is reality to that. So, I mean, when it comes to family and that long arduous pain, and I don't ever get to use the word arduous on here, but I will tonight. How do we deal with situations like that where there's so much resentment build up in family coming close to the holidays? It's really hard to even try and take any of it seriously.
hmm You're absolutely right. And it's been coming up a lot even in my personal life and even with my clients. I mean, I'm hearing this over and over again, all these family issues that are happening and coming up. You know, one of the things that we need to become aware of is that what we're learning by coming into a place of non-judgment, in a place of 0 point, which is going to be your sweet spot for 2021 forward. You learning how to come into that sweet spot of neutrality and observation, non-judgment, because as you know, even trauma, even cyclical patterns of experiences are cyclical. So this issue is coming up in our lives in this moment because it's time to address that part of us. So, all these resentments that are coming up, I mean, the invitation is as soon as that emotion comes up, know that that's an invitation for you to do the work, to sit with that emotion and to see what's festering underneath that. What's been holding on to, what are you holding on to? And you can find the roots of that maybe even in childhood. And notice that when we begin to look at it from this perspective, first we look through our emotions. Then we begin to kind of pan out and look at how other people are responding to us, how they're responding to situations that we've shared together in order to have the same programs. Maybe being secretive or not sharing information was a way to stay safe or a way to protect or in order to not show weakness, vulnerability, or insecurities. It can be anything. The thing is that we have to take the time to take a look at the minds of not ourselves and how we're being mirrored with others. Because when it's a trigger, it means that we're mirroring something that the other person's also experiencing. So the work of sitting with that emotion will help you get to the root. And by doing that, you're going to be able to have more perspectives instead of just a myopic view of thinking that someone actually did something to you to hurt specifically. Because we feel that way. We feel like, it's a personal attack. But what we want to come into is compassion. We need to, and the only way we come into compassion is by understanding the truth, understand the root cause of the program. Where did that feeling come from? Where does it originate? And notice how she or the other person also takes a role in that same thought, and she's responding to that. She's responding with the same defense mechanism that's been programmed, throughout the family for a long time. So we have to, in a way, through that healing, we come into a place of vulnerability where we can hold space for, more authentic communication. What's our part? Do we communicate authentically? Do we connect and are open about our lives as well? So just looking at those things, because we learn a lot about ourselves and our entire family lineages through these opportunities. So what we're going to be clearing, this is a great month to do it, is all of this old stuff that's been stuck for a long time is going to come up, guys. And especially in the holidays that you're now with your families, now you're right next to them, you're going to get triggered a lot. So, take the time at the end of the night before you fall asleep to just look at the emotions that came up throughout the day, the things that triggered you, and notice what they're doing in your body. What do they cause you to feel? What are the programs that you're playing out? What is your ego doing in that moment when it feels the emotion? What are you protecting? Okay, what's being preserved and who's preserving that? Okay, is it the loving mind or the egoic, fearful mind? And if it's the fearful mind, how can you shift that? How can you turn that around and provide yourself with the tools you need in order to not feel that way? And you'll empower yourself to notice that now you become an observer, that when the next day when you're being triggered again, you just watch it and you can see that it's a reflection of your own fears. When you dissolve it, it no longer triggers you. That's the thing. That's the trick to doing it.
The good old triggers. We all have them.
Yep. That's right. That's
know?
right. And they're a gift. They're a gift in disguise.
They really are. I don't really get it, but eventually we all have our triggers, and we all have to try and, I don't know, figure them out for whatever they're good for or whatever they're not good for. Geraldine, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we do have to go to break at the top of the hour. The lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco from Bay Area Meditation is here tonight with the Spiritual You as she comes in near the beginning of every month to bring us our little Zen and our little piece of chi, all on one plate, called the Spiritual You. Her website, GeraldineOrozco.com, and she has a secondary site called BayAreaMeditation.com. Highly suggest you check out her YouTube channel as well. She's very talented. Geraldine Orozco. We continue on with meditation and your questions if you're in our chat rooms on Twitter next on Spaced Out Radio. All right, my friend, I'm just going to quickly run my dogs outside. I'll be right back, okay?
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah.
No problem.
Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and we have some cool swag for you to pick up. All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do, what to do.
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month. And follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com. Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
Hi. This is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
All right, Geraldine, I'm back.
All right, great. I'm here too.
Me too.
Yay.
Hello, Xavier. Hello, Asteroid. The gorgeous and talented Britt Bennett is back. Look at this. We got a good crowd going here in the chat room tonight. They are loving you, Geraldine.
Oh, that's so sweet. So much love back, guys.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thurston Howell III is here after chasing Lovey off to bed. Yes, there he is. All right. Yeah, I think I'm caught up. YouTubers will be taking your questions afterwards. The chat room is moving way too fast, so it's very difficult for me to scroll back to get them. Being a one-man show here. Let's see. Bomber Dave, we have decided you must start wearing a helmet 24/7 now, strictly for selfish reasons. Oh, my goodness. Xavier's grandpa is named Dave. He must be a good man. Hey, I want to say a big thank you to Vinny and Long Island Bigfoot for the awesome super chats. Vinny, by the way, is asking Geraldine, will you marry him?
Oh, wow. That's so kind.
He says, Geraldine, I love you.
Oh, I love you too. All my love to you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just getting comfortable here. We got about 15 seconds before we launch the second hour. And, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. Here we go, everyone. Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Second hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. Remember to check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Quadrupedation. Quadrupedation is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with The Spiritual You, as once again we are joined by the lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco from Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco, California. Her website, GeraldineOrozco.com. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hey, always a pleasure and excited for hour number 2.
All right, we have some questions from our audience here. We're going to get to them right now. Mere Person is asking, how can one be selfless? Is the demand within the culture is to make a name for your, in quotation marks, self?
Well, you really have to take a look at what is truth. One of the things that we have a hard time discerning because of our programming, because of our conditioning our entire lives, is to believe that we have to follow certain trends and certain illusions that we see outside of us, which are constructed in the matrix for a purpose in order to create stress in our lives and certain belief systems that we have to conform to a certain way of being and doing things. So I think right now, as we're coming into redefining ourselves, all of those old programs of what it means to be successful, what it means to look a certain way, be a certain way, all of that is falling away. It has to fall away, even though I come across videos on YouTube and Instagram of these incredibly, influencers that are constantly pushing this very capitalistic, very consumerism mentality, the self-hate programs of not being just a natural, authentic self, is very harmful for our society, for our children, and for ourselves. But even our concept of what wealth is really has to be redefined. And I think that we're at the beginning footsteps, at the doorstep of a big major change that we're coming into in the next couple of years, which are going to be where our wealth now has to be focused around a holistic living that is aware of all aspects of ourselves, our education that is centered in truth and not in lies and deception, and the way that we look at the world. All the organizations understanding the systems of control that are manipulating and monopolizing the capitalism in the world also, and the businesses and finances, pharmaceuticals, the food industry, all of that. We have to really, really shed the illusion of all of those things and look at what's true, and then find yourself in that truth. Who are you? Who are you without that programming, without the false ideas and concepts? And then let's take it close to home. Who are you without the false programming of your culture, of religion, of, all of the things that have kind of taken you away from feeling love for yourself, compassion for yourself, truth, authenticity. And who you are at the end of that work is really the person that you want to create, and it's not going to look like anything that we see outside of us. So coming into your whole entire self is not a way of looking or a way of acting. It's a way of being. It's a vibrational signature that is created by you coming into your most authentic self, and that vibrational signature literally is interconnected with the web of creation that we are enmeshed in the world in order to co-create. Okay, it's a state of co-creation, and you can only reach that state of co-creation when you're in a state of truth and authenticity. If you're still lying to yourself, if you're still hiding behind your fears, if you still don't believe in yourself subconsciously, you're going to keep pushing programs of not success, of failure, of pain, of suffering for yourself. So you have to get rid of all of that. And when you come into your authentic, real self, you won't even need to try. Your opportunities will come into place. Your career will become very clear to you. You will be guided in the direction of the things that you need to do. And this is not by magic. Obviously, you're acting, you're moving, you're getting up every day, you're doing the work, you're meditating, you're connecting with yourself. You're going to your work every day, you're doing all the things that you need to do, making dinner, cleaning your home, whatever it is that you do. Being with your family, but within all that persona that you have to play, all of these little hats and wear these different masks, removing those and being the authentic self through all of those different things that you have to do. And that's how you're going to find what you need to do next and how to succeed in that. So all these illusions of being something, all of that has to change. And so we are redefining the new human that is the embodiment of that 0 point, of a state of neutrality, compassion, authenticity, and the ability to love truly, which we are just reacquainting ourselves to what love really is, okay, which is a complete unconditional truth is what it actually is. Thank you for that question.
All right, let's go to Kimberly's question here. Geraldine, there are people in the chat talking about drinking over the holidays as a way to deal with their relatives. Tell them that's not the way, please. Obviously, she's never been around my family.
It's those coping mechanisms, and honestly, I feel so deeply for people that have to go through that. And I'm compassionate. I understand what they feel. There was time in my life when I felt the same way. I mean, I hated family gatherings. I wanted to just hide because being an empath, a lot of you are empaths, and oftentimes it's the empaths that want to escape the most. They want to either take a Xanax or drink something or something like this to try to escape and run away. And the thing is that the funny illusion that life, that this matrix, that these experiences in our life have with us is that what those suppressed emotions are, it's almost like a balloon. That elephant, that pink elephant in the room is actually a balloon. And every time that you try to run away from your emotions and from the truth of what's happening around you, it's like you take you inject a bunch of helium in that balloon, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And if soon enough, it explodes, right? And there's this breakdown that happens. Now, the thing is this: if we are coming into unity consciousness, think about it. Are you contributing to that unity consciousness? We can never fix the problems of the world with the same lenses that we have now, right? If we think in terms of separation, we're never going to get to the other side of ourselves or anyone else because we're not able to face them. So as much as you can, in a very compassionate way, deal with the emotions that come up before you go to the family gathering, okay? Deal with the things. You don't even need to be there to have the triggers that come up when you're there. So work with them. And by the time that you have got to know what's happening internally and had a conversation with what you need when that trigger comes up, that's the education that needs to happen. You need to know what you need. What are your tools? It's a spiritual, quote-unquote, toolbox that you have to have next to you at all times, right? So somebody triggers me, looks at me a funny way, makes me feel unworthy, or judges my job, judges what I do, judges the fact that, I have a garden and don't want to go to a corporate job. What's the emotion? What do I need? I need to know that I love myself. I am the fountain of love for myself, and that I accept myself fully for who I am. Therefore, another judgment won't even affect my state. Okay? So this is just an example, but that's the kind of tools that you have to prepare yourself with. And all of us deal with this on different levels, right? So do the work before you have to go there. And remember, another thing I really want to mention is, alcohol and spirits, okay? Remember that when you drink, when you do drugs, you are really thinning, breaking, cracking, fragmenting your multidimensional body, okay? So you become really open to entities, attachments, other people's emotions, even more so. And a lot of the suppressed things that you're holding within you, it's going to come up even more, okay? The drunker you get, the more it's going to want to just spill out over you. So it's just chaos and pain going into more chaos and pain. So you really have to think about whether you really want to do that. You're going to have to clean up the aftermath, after the fact. So just think about that, okay?
All right, let's go to Bombshell, who is asking, Geraldine, you mentioned spiritual flu. How long has this been going around, and how long can it last?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I call it the spiritual flu because, the symptoms feel like a flu, but they're not actually. I mean, it's not, you're not actually going to have an actual flu, but I hear this for the past 3-4 years. People report that in certain energy, when energy increases in the earth, whether it's the celestial bodies have an intense alignment or the Schumann resonance is up really high, there seems to create an effect on the physical body. And I think it's a vibrational attunement that is happening in your body that is, in addition to your own emotional roller coaster that you guys are all going through, things become heightened, right? Emotionally become heightened. And so at times it feels more difficult to process emotions than other times. Sometimes it's so easy, right? It feels so light and it's not a problem. You can handle that trigger that comes up. But other times the trigger comes up and boy, you just blow up. You're just so, enraged, and it's very difficult to shake that emotion. So a lot of these kinds of imbalanced triggers will cause the body to go into an energetic imbalance. And oftentimes people begin to feel super, super drained, exhausted. They start to sometimes get headaches. Sometimes they feel dizzy. Okay. Sometimes they feel nauseous. So I've been hearing these same symptoms over and over again, and it's just momentary, right? It might last 1 day, 2 days, and if you don't work with that, you might go into lower emotions, like you might feel depressed, and it's unnecessarily because you're influenced by this momentary energetic shift in the body that is actually an opportunity for you to realign yourself energetically. It's an invitation for you it's your body screaming and saying, I need attention. I need to move old stuff so that I can allow new patterns of information to enter the body. Your DNA is a massive storage system. Your body is made out of liquid, light, and crystal, right? Vibrational frequency and crystal. So your constant storage system that is recording all the things that are happening around you. If you keep recording yucky stuff that don't need to be in your body, like, whether it's really bad, hours and hours in front of a television or a screen, watching movies, whatever it is that you do, that's depleting your life force energy in a negative manner, is going to cause you to go into an imbalance. So tap in immediately, catch yourself. There's nothing wrong with having a day off and kind of drifting away once in a while, but if it becomes something that you keep doing, you're just wasting your life force energy, and it causes you to go into these kinds of imbalances. On the other side, let's say the flip side, you're working a lot on your vibrational frequency, you're disconnected from everything, and you still feel these symptoms. You're readjusting to your vibrational frequency. And so, again, drink a lot of water. That's what I really have to say. Drink a lot of water and run energy, okay? If you need to learn how to run energy, you can watch the videos on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of free content on there to teach that. But move energy through your body. Practice Qigong. That is amazing to move the energy through your body. Practice, Reiki. If you do Reiki. But move the energy out of your body. Breathing. Yoga. Okay? Yoga. Stretch for a little bit. All of this will help you, okay? So, great question, and everyone has different symptoms, but if you feel this, let me know how you feel. Put it down in the messages, and I'll be happy to respond.
Excellent. Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You continues here on Spaced Out Radio. Geraldine, you mentioned that there is a lot of stress, and, you really shouldn't use alcohol as a crutch, and we don't promote that whatsoever, but for healthy mind, body, and spirit, for those who are tired of the stress, tired of the family, tired of having to deal with the same BS all the time, there are a faction of people out there who, they're willing to say, to heck with mom and dad, to heck with my sisters or my brothers or whomever, and they're willing to just turn their cell phones off for about a week over the holidays and do their own thing, relax, chill out, and at least have some R&R time, and to heck with the consequences. Is that a proper thing or a proper way to deal with the holidays as well?
Yeah, Dave, some people are going to need to do that. You need to, so here's the thing, right? Everything has to be in balance, and most importantly, with a very intuitive connection to yourself. If you feel that you need time alone, you need time to just, stay home and stay away from everyone, yes, you need to honor your body, and you need to do that because, you're integrating, you're processing something. And maybe, you're not going to be 100% if you do push yourself and go do that. But the thing is that, here's the thing, when those messages come up, I just want you to ask yourself, do they come from a place of fear? Or is it coming from a place of love? If it's coming from a place of love and you're like, you know what, I need to be more compassionate. I've been pushing myself for the past, 6 months, going to work, running around, and now the holidays are here. I need to rest. I need time for myself. Absolutely. You need to pamper yourself and be compassionate to yourself, that when you need that time to rest, you give it to yourself. If you keep pushing yourself without having a clear connection and reason, for your body to be doing that, your body's going to retaliate. You're going to come out of balance, either physically or emotionally, and we don't want that. So use your intuition, listen, and ask yourself, is it fear or is it love? Which one is it? And be honest, because, there's always going to be cause and effect. So keep in mind, every single choice is a timeline that you're choosing. Every choice that you make, you're co-creating our entire collective reality. So choose wisely.
Makes sense. Makes absolute sense. Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Geraldine, the holidays financially, which you mentioned earlier, can be very stressful. I mean, especially during the COVID season, a lot of people's bank accounts are tighter than they have ever been, let alone the stress of, the people out there who have to work 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 jobs just to keep the roof over the head and food on the table, Now we add in COVID. Now we add in the lockdowns that have caused us all a little bit of financial strife. How do you simplify your Christmas holidays or that Christmas spirit in order to, make sure you have a good holiday, even though you might not be able to buy the gifts or provide the big meal or something along those lines?
Yeah, that's such a beautiful question. Thank you so much for asking that, Dave, because it's a conversation we have to have. And I mean, we have to get back to the basics, okay? Do not forget that what Christmas, is, even though the origins of Christmas, per, common storyline, is that by popular belief, is that it's a Christian holiday, right? And although, some of us might observe that, do remember that unfortunately, because we live in this capitalistic society, it's milked for the very last drop in order to push consumerism more than anything. And so the sooner you realize that, the more you're going to understand that you don't need to play the game of being in a state of struggle and stress to try to create a false celebration in terms of having to follow certain rules, right, of gifts. And I know that our kids, oftentimes they ask, they want the gifts. But, there are so many things that we can do. And the most important thing that we want to do, for me, in times when my family was going through hard financial times as a child, I remember that we didn't get a lot of gifts, but we had so much love in the house. We had cookies that were being baked. We had food that was being put on the table. And for us, it was about love and connection and open communication and compassion for one another. And that, for me, was my memory. I don't remember the gifts that were being given. It was the love and the connection that we had in the house and the family. So if you're a parent that has a family, focus on that. Let that be your focus instead of trying to comply with all of these false illusions of what this holiday season is about. The holiday season is about coming into unconditional love, to enlightenment, and that's what Jesus Christ, which, the Catholics and Christians are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, was a representation of unconditional love, incarnation in the body, in the flesh. And so that's what we want to celebrate. That's what we want to focus on. So don't get carried away by all this stuff that's illusion. Learn to discern, okay?
Yeah, definitely, because I think we put a lot of onus and stress on ourselves if we can't provide. If there's a toy a child wants, or, maybe it's something as simple as a gift certificate to Starbucks for a teenage daughter or son or whatever. And all of a sudden, where $25 may not have been an expensive gift at one point in time, a year or two ago or further, whereas today, that might be all you have.
Exactly. And, I just want to add to that please take this year, and now that we have so much stuff going on in our world that allows us to kind of redefine what things mean and what they are for ourselves and for our families, take this opportunity to re-educate children so that they understand the difference. Have the conversations with them that, Christmas is more about love and connection and family as opposed to the illusion of having, and I guarantee you children understand. They're actually more wise than we are sometimes. They tap into these things. They know that it's not about the material things. So don't be afraid to have those conversations with them so that when they grow up, as they grow up, they grow up from a mentality that's more wise, more compassionate, and more in tune with reality instead of illusion. We don't want to push illusion for ourselves or for our kids. So if you can create some, rules in your home where you begin to look at things truthfully, they need to know this. I wish I knew this when I was a child. It would help me, when I was coming into my teen years and my young adult years, make better choices. So that's a great contribution to them.
Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You is on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Geraldine, we got only about 20 seconds left, so we're going to continue with the questions coming up here on the Spiritual You. Our last one of 2020 with the lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco. Her websites are GeraldineOrozco.com as well as BayAreaMeditation.com, where, you definitely want to check out what she's saying on her YouTube channel, on her websites. I mean, we bring this lovely and talented lady on because we absolutely love the message that she shares with the Spaced Out Radio audience on a monthly basis. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You continues on Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right, we are clear.
Okay, I'm going to go grab some tea and I'll be right back.
You go. The force is strong here. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Who is that? Let's see. It's
I
the force is strong here. Oh, thank you.
Yes. S. Gobtop, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Anybody else new that needs a shout out? Who needs a shout out? Who needs one? We got 98 people listening. Who needs a shout out? Just go into our chat room and say, hey, Dave, give me a shout out. Just do it. Right now. Right now. Hi, Redheaded Lisa. How are you? And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. We are pushing for 10,000. We are at 9,407 entering tonight's show. Hey, Gil, I thought you were in love with Zion Zeta. Derek Perrin, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much. Why are you scared of a shout-out? I'd be more scared of a shootout in hockey than I would of a shout-out here on the show. Ow, God damn it. Oh, God, that hurts. Okay, there we go. Feeling better now. Yeah, we love you too, Derek. Hang out in the chat room, man. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. From Amsterdam. Very cool. Very cool. Good morning to you. Alien Probe Master, what's new? Are you all lubed up for the rest of the show here or what? He's no KY. He's into that fancy alien lube. I don't know. It just makes me laugh every time. It does. Excuse me. Yes, so for those of you who are wondering, it came in late. I did go to the doctors today and said I badly bruised myself. I have nothing broken. And that is good. That is good. I'm happy about that. alien probe is so smooth. When? You got to add a when on that. Hey, Rich Hilke. How you doing, man? Welcome back. Did you all know that Eric with a K, who is in the Spreaker chat room right now, Eric with a K, he actually let us know one day that we are his fourth favorite show. Fourth favorite show. Hold on, Derek Perrin. I listen to SOR during my 3-hour commute. Tons of airline flight crews listen. You keep us away. Really? Dude, that's awesome. Really?
Wow. Which airline?
I don't know. He just said tons of airline flight crews listen. That is fantastic.
That's amazing.
I know. I want to give a few claps for us.
Yeah, me too. Shout out to the airline crews,
Absolutely.
you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Are you a pilot, Derek? Are you a pilot? Or are you just a crew member? Not just a crew member, but are you
United Airlines?
Yeah, United Airlines. Right on. Right on. Thank you.
Awesome.
That is fantastic. I that just like gave me like a whole burst of energy right there. Honestly.
I love that. I used to be a flight attendant.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun job.
I can picture you being a flight attendant. I want to fly the friendly skies with you because I know I'd be safe.
Yeah, those are wonderful times.
Hi, Alexander Ramirez. All right, here we go, everyone. Thank you to all of you for listening tonight and United Airlines crews all around the world. Right now, here we go. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Oh, my memory faded on me there for a second. I forgot what I was supposed to say on the microphone, but guess what? I figured it out because I know my own name. It's Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You here as we prepare to say goodbye, good riddance to 2020, and hello to some hopeful peace and tranquility in 2021. Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com, as well as BayAreaMedication.com. Medication. Oh, my gosh. Meditation.com. Oh, my goodness. I went there. You are our medication tonight, Geraldine. Thank you.
There you go. I love it.
You know what? I want to give a shout-out on the radio here, because we're on the radio side right now, to our new friend Derek, who apparently works for an airline. I don't know, maybe he mentioned in the chat room, United Airlines, saying that there's a bunch of those crew members on United Airlines who actually listen to Spaced Out Radio. So a big shout out to all of you with United Airlines. If you're tuning on in, we really do appreciate you taking us to fly the friendly skies, because you guys are awesome. I've flown on United. I've had a good time on there. And thank you so much for tuning in. And make sure when you're flying over British Columbia, give us a little honk. You know, because I'm always waving. Nobody ever sees me. You know what? You know what upsets me? Honestly.
What's that?
A couple times I have had the space station fly on over my house So I quickly hop on Twitter with a photo saying, hey, guys, how you doing? Can you give us a wave? And they don't even respond. Don't even respond. I'm like, come on. Come on. You're like you're flying over headquarters. Not everybody gets to see the headquarters. Yet here you are, 300 miles above us. Oh, well.
Right. Oh, no. That's not nice.
I know.
Oh, well. Hopefully they're listening.
Exactly. Hopefully. I doubt it. But United Airlines is, and that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yep.
All right.
Shout out to United.
Let's do this here. All right. 2021. This is your last show with us in 2020. And you'll be back for 2021. But you know what? After this, this dog puke of a year, and that's what it's been. None of us want to clean this mess up, which we call 2020. We're all looking towards the hope of 2021. And I think for many of us, we do this on an annual basis, preaching for new change. It's a fresh year. Is this dangerous thinking just in case it's the same?
No way. Dave, like I'm telling you, one of the biggest illusions that we really have to just clear out of our mind is the illusion that we are victims to any global situation or that we have no power in creating or affecting our future. Okay, and the only way to affect the future is by choosing in a present and conscious manner in the now. And what I mean by that is that we are such a collective consciousness. We are such one that when you choose your emotions from a place of anger, fear, frustration, helplessness, you're contributing to the global vibrational frequency with that thought, with those choices and actions. Please remember that. And it's not that you're going to remember that just because you're thinking about the world outside of you. You need to think about you, your experience, what you're co-creating in your life. You can choose what you experience. To me, it's been a tough year, but I also think it's been an incredible year. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things have changed. I've been able to spend time in my home. I mean, we can go down a list of number of things that have been good, even though there have been tough changes, right? But please look and be grateful for what you have right now and open your eyes to the things that you never noticed before that were there supporting you. Because I think this opportunity that we've experienced has helped us, if anything else, to look at those things. And because it's changing, our perception has to change. We have to stop externalizing our need, externalizing our desires, our wants to be constantly stimulated by outside things so that we can start fulfilling ourselves with truth, with real things, like our connection to ourself, with our love, with our authenticity, with our truth. It's a time that when we go into that alignment, we can really affect things on a larger scale. Okay, and it's going to help us find clarity in the harder truths in our world that we sometimes don't want to see. Like, for example, we talked about how, Christmas can be very, capitalistic. It's about the money. It's about the gifts. It's about shopping more so than family. Like, see the truth around that. I remember when I was first waking up to that, that was very painful for me. It was very hard because I loved the idea of Christmas. I love decorating my house, love doing all the stuff, went crazy with it. And we have to constantly be okay with going through cycles of change, of deaths and rebirths. And sometimes old programs have to come to an end. Sometimes it feels bitter temporarily, but what's available for you on the other side is an expansion that your mind is not even ready for. So please be brave. Be brave for the unknown. Embrace the unknown so that when whatever comes up, whatever crazy thing happens, you know that you're in charge. You're the master of your domain, of what you're creating, of what your family. Get really clear about the morals and ethics that you have within your family so that you can guide them for a future that's going to be a product of their actions moving forward. Every dollar that we spend speaks volumes. I just want to remind everyone that, okay? Get to know where your money goes and who you're funding, because don't forget that the systems in our reality are monopolized, and they're monopolized for a reason. So we want to make sure that we're contributing to things that are causing less harm and suffering in the world, and hopefully contributing to something a little better. Okay? So.
I get the positivity. I do. All right? I am Mr. freaking positive. Look at me. I am so positive. You know, as I roll my eyes at myself there. Okay? But and I get what you're saying, okay? But to me, at times, and I don't mean this to be rude because I'm Canadian and we just aren't rude people, allegedly. And I will say this, I don't know if I agree with that, because it's easy to talk about that, Geraldine. It's easy to try and put that focus. But for so many people who have so many responsibilities out there in order to try and just live, whether you're a single parent or whether you're a single income family, or you know, you're a student who's going to school and your family lives on the other side of this beautiful planet that we call Earth. I mean, there is a lot of stress in order to just live today. And I don't know if many people know how to find that focus anymore.
Well, the thing is that we have to see, is what we're doing working for us right now? Is the way that we think and look at our life and the things that we're going through, is it working? You know, like we go through so much and it becomes overwhelming and more and more and more. Wouldn't you wish that you can change that? And wouldn't you do anything to change that? I mean, it doesn't hurt to, for a moment, take a step back and try to see if by doing things, just changing one thing in your day, you know, you can really affect. And I know that in the beginning of making that transition, it's terrifying, it's scary, because right now, fear is comfortable, fear is known, being in survival is known. But guess what? The moment that you choose to no longer be in a state of victimism or a place where you feel that you have to be in a, you know, a rat's cage, turning in circles, Groundhog Day, survival, you got to break that habit, and it's really your responsibility. It's the responsibility of you and to move your family forward into a different way of thinking and looking at things. Because trust me, we can all stay in that little circle all our lives, and what happens is that it becomes so overwhelming that something will happen that will, you know, you can only put up with so much, and it's going to force us to change, force us to move. The thing is, we don't want to reach that point where things get to the bitter end, or the, you know, the very rock bottom, because that's the direction that we're headed when we're in a constant state of survival. So just remember that. I mean, if you want to continue to create more suffering in your life, please do. But here's a thing that I've experienced personally, and I know all of you have experienced. If we keep going down that road, we're only going to be met with more of the same. So, you know, it's a trial and error, and everybody has different perspectives. Everyone has different journeys, but you got to try it. You got to try and see that by incorporating mindfulness in your life, or just questioning and tapping in with yourself, like, how do I feel in this moment? You know, those are important things that without that sometimes could cause you to really go into, you know, chaos and exasperation. So it's about learning to love yourself. When you love yourself, you become compassionate of yourself, and you say, you know what, I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being fed up with my life. I don't want to feel those feelings anymore. Even if it's still happening outside, I choose not to feel that way anymore about myself and my life. And that's the most compassionate thing you can do for your health, because when you feel those emotions constantly, don't forget that you're setting off a series of chemical reactions in your body that are affecting your body. They're causing the deterioration of your organs, you know, stress, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well. I mean, it's a downward spiral. And when I look at it from the higher level, it's like, you know, the system wants us there. It wants us in that place, because that's when you're going to be reaching outside, shopping for things to console you, you know, doing things that are going to be continuing to propagate this survival behavior. reaching for the alcohol, reaching for the drugs, reaching for the anger and the chaos in families. So just notice, do we want to go down that road of destruction or creation? Because as soon as you stop, you can start changing your life. And that's really the most powerful thing that I've experienced personally. I'm not just talking cliche words here. I've sold my business. I've transformed my life more than once. And, it's difficult, but you got to be brave. You got to be brave,
Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You continue on the show here. Okay, so for 2021 then, knowing, what we've gone through the last year, knowing that we are going to start the year off with, COVID and maybe potential lockdowns and so on and so forth, how do we start the year off on a positive note, knowing that we're already starting off this year or the new year like we did the previous year?
Yeah, here's the thing. Our life doesn't depend on what's happening outside, okay? And that might sound really like, what do you mean, Listen, right now, you guys are home. You guys are safe. You're warm. And you're sitting here listening to a radio show, God, or you're outside on the road. You are good. You are good where you're at. You have your health. You have your well-being. You have what you need. So, focus on what you have in this moment right now. The problem is that we always think about the future. We think about what could happen, what will happen, what might happen. We forget that our greatest human superpower is in the present moment, because that's the only time that you can be in control of what's happening to you. Do you understand? It doesn't matter if you look at what's going to happen next month, or who's going to be doing what, or what this president's going to be doing, or whatever it is. You can't control that anyway. What you can control is yourself and your emotions. So that's why, for me, I'm a spokesperson for being in control of your emotions. Use the tools of your body. Your body is one of the most incredible advanced biotechnologies in this multiverse, that you can remove yourself from negative emotions, you can heal your body, you can change the way that you see things in one moment. It's mind over matter. Get that drilled into the minds, that your mind has the power over your body, over this little system that we think is matter. It's a combination of all of these different systems that are co-creating here your body. So as soon as you start to reprogram yourself with the understanding that you're the master of this body, you bring your mind into the present moment, either from the past, the things that have traumatized and hurt and caused pain and suffering. Bring yourself into the now, because those things are not here. They're basically not real. Okay? They've happened, but they're not real right now. And the future is not real right now. So as we go into this new year, the only time that you're going to be thinking about, oh my God, how can we be happy, or how can we even think about exciting things in the future, is because you're thinking about possibilities. You're going down this the ideas that, oh my God, we're going to be unhappy, quarantine, this is going to happen, virus. Do not put energy into that. Energy goes where attention is directed. If your attention is on that, that's what you're helping co-create. What if you think in this present moment, what I need now? And it's not like you're not going to plan ahead what you need to plan, but keep yourself in the now. Okay, and control your emotions. Don't come into fear. Fear only happens because we're dealing with the unknown. What's here right now, you know it. You know what's here right now, and you're in control of that. So that's the best way to manage things. And remember that nothing comes from outside, okay? You are your only source, whether you're a child, a mother, a father, an older person, whatever it is that you are, whatever state of your life you're in. You are the only source of unconditional love that you have. And you have to be that beacon of light for yourself all the time. Nothing comes from outside. So as the Alpha and the Omega, you create everything that happens.
Okay. So if we could create the now, which is right now, why are we worrying about the future when we have no control? And the past is already past. I think we all learned that from Disney.
We did.
Was it The Little Mermaid? Was it The Little Mermaid?
I don't know.
No, it was The Lion King. It was The Lion King.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
You've never been to Disneyland, have you?
I have. I used to go when I was a child, but I don't remember the films. It took me a long time to recover from Disney programming, by the way. How many of you had to deprogram Disney programming, guys? Come on.
Not me. Not me. And I will still support them at $300 a person now. I still will. I'm addicted.
Oh, boy.
I'm addicted. You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. It's like when I go there, okay? It's about all that was good for me.
Mm-hmm.
All that was good. From when I went there as a kid to the time when I was a teenager, to being an adult, it was just all that was good for me. That's it. Nice and simple.
And simple. Well, that's good, and it's whatever you make of it, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, it's how it affected you in a positive way. That's wonderful, right?
What's it like? What's it like never seeing snow?
Not seeing snow. Well, I have seen snow, by the way, so I don't know what that's like, Dave. I've been to Tahoe. I spent a Christmas, some kind of holiday up in Tahoe one time, and it was a wonderland. It was magical. It was divine. So beautiful.
You were in your own little snow globe.
It was so beautiful. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much. But I couldn't live in that snow. I just couldn't.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a California girl, okay?
I know, but it's so much fun for me. I don't know why I enjoy it so much. It's so much fun. We have about 5 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour with Geraldine Orozco. Continuing on here with the the thinking and prepping for the new year. I mean, we all hear about resolutions. We all hear about what we should or shouldn't do. Because we all say that's it. January 1st, I am going for a gym membership. I'm going to go work out every day, 2 hours a day, and nothing can stop me. And then you never go. Okay, is it too early to be planning those resolutions on changing your life for 2021?
I think that in order to create change, you need to start today. So if you're going to be planning a list of something, you better start now. What is it that you need? Start doing it right away. Don't go buy things to do it. Just do it, and do it right now. So it's funny. I think December is a wonderful time to implement those, to begin implementing those resolutions, or whatever it is that you're doing. I've never liked the concept of resolutions. I think that we have to constantly address our needs as we go in a conscious manner. So you should have, awareness of what you want your day to look like at the beginning of the day. I'll give you a little tool. What about GPAC? Grounding, protecting, aligning, and co-creating, becoming aware of your multidimensional body. If you use this energetic hygiene as a daily thing, imagine how much control you're going to have over what you're creating. You're in control of your emotions and your perception. So you can start with that, and I'll leave you with that as a possible resolution for your list.
I don't know if that one's going to work for me. I don't know.
All right.
What works for you?
What's your New Year's resolution?
What's my New Year's resolution? Oh, I never make them. Because I'm the type of guy where I will put a lot of emotion and connection into that.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah.
And I am someone who will, when I break that, I'll be really disappointed, and then it kicks in my anxiety, my depression, all that kind of lovely stuff that I try and, avoid.
Mm-hmm.
But probably if I were to look towards 2021, it would probably, hanging out with my boss at my daytime job. And I know he's listening right now. Okay. But, hanging out with him and just enjoying the time, because he literally brings the best out of me, outside of my family. He brings the best out of me. And I am just, I'm very blessed. Very blessed. He knows who he is.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, and just try not to piss him off this year. That's probably the big one.
Oh, well, that's considerate and loving of you.
I try.
That's wonderful.
I try. I mean, he was bugging me at work. I had a healthy lunch today, but apparently I didn't go buy the correct apples for our lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a big red delicious guy. All right, but apparently he's not. And and then he spoils me and gets me all fat up again by shoving a bunch of hedgehogs in my mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Eat these, Dave. Eat these. It's the way it is.
What do you mean hedgehogs exactly?
Chocolate hedgehogs.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I get it.
You don't eat chocolate.
I love dark chocolate once in a while. Yes.
You're way too disciplined. Way too disciplined.
Oh no, Dave. Trust me, I've had my days.
Honestly, though, I must say this. I am very blessed to work with one of my best friends, and one of the best people I've ever met in my life, and that for that relationship to continue would be the penultimate. I've never used the word penultimate on this show, so I'll use that at this time. The penultimate highlight to my 2021, because my boss is awesome on my daytime job, and I love him like a brother, and I'm the type of guy where I'll drop the gloves for him anytime.
Oh, that is so wonderful to have friends like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until he when it's cold decides when we're out ATVing, when he decides to hit a mud puddle right beside me and get me all soaking wet. I will get revenge. But that's okay. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You continues. We have her for another 30 minutes before we are going to go on over to Vancouver, hook up with The Shift, and then we'll get to the thought of the day, the news wire, and so much more. Jam-packed hour 3 coming up next on Spaced Out Radio. All right, I'll be right back.
No problem. Okay.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and we have some cool swag for you to pick up. All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month. And follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
For the price of one cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Tribe and Tribe Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little different. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Tribe Charities, just go to tribecharities.org/donate.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day.
All right.
Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire.
Oh, there we go. I'm ready for another hour. Geraldine, are you there, or is your mic on mute? Hi, gorgeous Marie. How are you?
I'm here. I'm back.
Me too.
Okay, awesome.
Me too.
Ready to go.
You know, one of these days, it would be really cool if, when I'm taking my dogs outside, if all of a sudden I was, abducted during the show. That would be the ultimate. That would be the ultimate. Nobody would believe me. I don't even think I would believe it if I was a listener.
Wow, that would be amazing.
But that would be just ultimately cool. It really would.
Wow, we'd miss you though, Dave. Why do you trying to get away from us? That's not
I
fair.
don't, but I'm just saying that would be that would be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. It really would. Yeah.
Have you had any contact recently?
No, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Hi, Cynthia. What's this show about? It's about nice hair, great beards, and a lot of weirdness. How about that? Welcome to the club. Hang out for a while. I think you'll like us. Here we go with Hour 3, everyone.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. I appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight. We want to welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Where are you, Clam? There you are. Quadrupedation. Quadrupedation is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we introduce our good friend Geraldine Orozco from Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco, California. Geraldine comes on at the beginning of each month, hanging out, talking about all our Zen, all our Chi, and all of our wisdom with everything that is going on in this weird place we call planet Earth. Her website, GeraldineOrozco.com. Her other website, BayAreaMeditation.com. Geraldine, welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much. And if I may give a little shout out to my hybridmother.com website. And actually, I'd love to tell you, I merged Bay Area Meditation and GeraldineOrozco.com. So yes, I just did that literally this week. So all you have to do is look up GeraldineOrozco.com and hybridmother.com. If you're an experiencer, reach out to me. I am working on a project, so I really hope to connect with you.
And we also want to give a shout out to a good, he's a good dude, man. UFO Jesus on YouTube, post-disclosure. He gave a big shout out to us on his latest video that came out tonight. And a big thank you to UFO Jesus for including Spaced Out Radio in his video tonight. So we really do appreciate that. We'll give him a shout out as well. Geraldine, you know, we were talking about the end of the year. And here we are at, we're finally in the final countdown. People are getting absolutely ready for 2020 to be over. It was not the year we had all expected, and we're planning for 2021. You're giving us some good tidbits on everything from resolutions to kind of bringing the mind down. How do we relax? How do we bring our temperatures down, our anger down, our disappointment down, so that way we could start off nice, cool, calm, and collected?
So the most powerful tool that I can leave you with tonight is that you have the ability of managing and controlling your chakra system. Now, some of you might hear the word chakras and you're like, oh my gosh, we're talking about invisible colored dots on your body. But let me explain what chakras really are. It's actually your endocrine system. Okay, and it's your endocrine system that connects to all of your organs, from the root, your sexual organs, to your solar plexus, up to the heart, the throat, your thyroid system, and the endocrine system, going all the way up to your pineal gland. Okay, so all of these systems are managed by the chakra system. So when you have a strong emotion, all of these areas are intercommunicating. Okay. So, for example, if you're in anger, you're really releasing a lot of those endorphins in the body, and they're causing chemicals to run through the body that, oftentimes can cause liver pain. You can really end up with some nausea, some upset stomach. And depending on where you're holding on to the emotion in the body, that's where you're going to have the complications. So some of you have digestive issues. Some of you have back pain, neck pain, throat pain. Your throat always has problems. Well, it's probably because you're not working on some aspect of your chakra in the throat, okay? So this is just a simple example. You have to check your body to see where you're having complications, where you notice that you have blockages, and see what needs to be worked on there. And so one of the most powerful techniques that have changed my life, and this is way before all of this ever happened, 2008, when I was in the corporate world, closing the chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar. The first three chakras are the connection to the physical plane. The physical plane, really, it's like puppet strings for a human, okay? So literally, things that you're watching on TV are designed to trigger your first three chakras, whether it's the way that you see yourself and your emotions, with the way that you relate with sexuality and yourself and others, your relationship with yourself and others, and whether you're in a state of survival, fear, or you feel safe, Okay, so just think about it. Think about what you're watching on TV, what you're listening to on the music. Sometimes music is really overly sexualized, and that's a lot of our teens listen to a lot of hip hop and pop music, and it really keeps them in a constant state of stimulation of the sexual energies. Think about that. What better way to numb down or imbalance a young teen by feeding into them this kind of music all the time, okay? And it's the same with us as adults, right? We're triggered by the news and the things that we're hearing on TV, sometimes a lot of really exciting and disturbing information that really takes us out of balance that we don't want to hear. So just notice how we are so easily manipulated by those things, okay, like puppets. So the best way to control yourself is by managing those areas. In other words, managing your emotions, observing your emotions. Emotions are not meant to be felt and then they're running your life. They are meant to be observed, okay? There's a huge difference. So just observe it. Imagine that you're outside of your body, looking at yourself, experiencing the emotion, whatever it is, even if it's joy. Practice looking at yourself, experiencing an emotion. And what that's going to do is going to help you have kind of like a bird's eye view of yourself in the situation that you're in, so that you can have a broader perspective about what's happening. And what that'll enable is for you not to get completely engrossed in the emotional, experiential aspect of what you're dealing with, but to be able to see all parts. And that way you can choose. You can choose to engage with what's happening, or you can pull away from that and say, you know what, I don't want to feel that anger right now in my body. I see what's happening, and I'm going to decide to behave in this certain way so that, we can deal with what's happening in the best way possible for myself and everybody else involved. And that's the difference between a co-creator and someone that's in a constant state of just reacting to what's happening around. You're no longer the puppet of a matrix, okay? Because keep in mind that the intelligence of this matrix is so incredible that it's designed based on your unawareness of yourself. Okay, when you're not aware of yourself and how your emotions work, you're being played and manipulated by everything around you, your environment, okay? So do you want to continue to get manipulated in that way, or do you want to be in charge of what you're experiencing, okay? It's time for you to come into empowerment. And in order to get happy, you have to get acquainted with what happiness is. And a lot of us, it's unfortunate to say, we don't know what that is. Sometimes we have had to be in such survival mode all our lives that some of us have not really felt affection, for example, or real love or unconditional love from one another, maybe not even our parents, right? So we have to nurture ourselves through the process of reacquainting ourselves with what it means to feel love, to feel at peace, to be okay with stillness, and to be able to love yourself and accept yourself without judgment. And those are processes that take practice and they take dedication. So you don't need to go meditate on a mountain to accomplish that. You can do it right here, right now, just by checking in with you for 1 minute. That's all it takes. And every day when something happens, when it triggers an emotion, just observe that emotion in you and learn about yourself. Imagine yourself an explorer of yourself in your life. Imagine that. Okay, you're going to learn so much about yourself in that practice, and it's incredibly empowering. I guarantee it'll shift your life.
All right, meditation is one of those ways to do it. You're somebody who teaches people how to meditate, how to relax the mind, body, and soul. So for beginners at meditation, what is your best way to teach someone to calm things down in their own personal life, to take that control back?
Yeah, so my favorite meditation is Vipassana meditation, which allows you to come into stillness. We don't realize how much we're constantly moving around, shifting around, tensing the muscles in our abdomen, in our back, in our neck. Okay, notice that. Do you have body awareness? Okay, so practice total body awareness, becoming aware of your body. Just 1 minute in your life, be completely still to the point where you begin to observe your breath, and then notice the rhythm of the breath as it naturally comes into a nice calm rhythmic state. And just by sitting in that moment of stillness, you're going to experience something where perhaps all the emotions will come up at once, and then they will release, and you'll be able to come into a state of relaxation. But don't get intimidated by the fact that you're going to be, left alone with the emotions that you're trying to run away from, or left alone with stillness, because some of us are intimidated by that. We resist it really a lot because we're used to stimulation, okay? So it's just a matter of throughout your day, if you can, this is so easy, guys, 3 minutes out of your day, start with 3 minutes, 1 in the morning, 1 in the noon, 1 at night, 1 minute, sit still. Observe yourself. That's all it takes. And little by little, you can increment that. And it's going to be, you're going to want to increment it because it becomes addictive. It's so delicious to sit in a moment of stillness with yourself. And it becomes almost pleasurable. Okay? The feeling of being with yourself in meditation is one of the most beautiful feelings in the world. So I really hope that all of you at some point experience that, and it takes just one small step. Now, I do have a lot of guided meditations on my YouTube channel that you can check out if you're curious and you want a little help. And I teach something that I talked earlier about GPAC, which is a technique about grounding yourself, connecting yourself with earth. When we go into nature, the body automatically resets into balance. So if you visualize yourself connecting to earth, you are realigning yourself, you're balancing the positive and negative charges in your body, and you're bringing your mind from that future or past place into the now. And that's where you want to be. The second is aligning the chakras. Imagine that your chakras right now, when you're in a place of fear, they're wide open, out to the side, cracked, all messed up. Bring them into a balanced state, okay? And work on bringing them into a balanced state all the way up to your crown. Activate the crown. The crown is your creative life force energy, so you can manifest what you want to do. It's almost like tuning a radio station. You're changing the dial so that you can tune into what you want to experience as opposed to something you don't, okay? And then protection. Be aware of your body, okay? Who's around you? Is there a negative person around you that's always draining energy or talking horrible stories, at you all day when you're at work? Take a look at that. You can create boundaries. Know when to create boundaries. Know when to say no. Know when to protect and preserve your energy, okay? So always maintain that communication with your body. And this is very simple things that you can do. These are just strategies for success in life that are pretty general that you can implement now.
Is there a certain place in the house or wherever that you should be doing this? Because I think when people think of meditation, that they should be in some yoga type room or out in nature, sitting cross-legged underneath a tree or something along those lines.
Yeah, when I first started meditating, I thought the same thing, and I realized I ended up never meditating because I could never find that little ideal place to meditate, which I saw in magazines and pictures, right? So I'm totally against that. I think that we should be able to meditate wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you have 1 second of awareness, and really one thing that I want to dispel is that meditation is not just an isolated practice. It's a way of life, guys. It's presence. It's embodying awareness and observation, okay? So it's being your best friend. When you have your friend next to you, you check in with them. Hey, do you need anything? Do you need some water? Do you need something to eat? Do you want to go rest for a little bit? You be your best friend. Imagine that meditation is you being your best friend and you checking in with yourself. That's all it is. And you can do that anywhere. You can do that when you're in an elevator, when you're in traffic, when you're at home with your kids. You can take a minute to check in with yourself, and you don't even have to be vocal about it or remove yourself from your environment. Okay, so that's kind of what we want to do. We need to embody the practice, not just isolate it.
Okay. So with that, and we've talked about this before, 24-hour society that we are now, we're always on the go. Our minds are always racing. Getting the kids to school, making sure that lunches are made, getting to work on time, which is something that I never seem to do, all right, except for this show, because everything's timed out for me. But, for a lot of us, we're go, 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 go. From the time we wake up in the morning to that unfriendly alarm, to the time we go to bed. There is not a lot of relaxation time. So how should we go about, if we live that type of lifestyle, how should we go about trying to find that 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes to actually be one with ourselves?
Yeah, and as I just mentioned right now, it's constant. It's not an isolated event that needs to be, orchestrated for you to have a moment with yourself. Right now, when I'm talking to you, I'm fully aware of my body. I know where I am, okay, and what I'm feeling. So how about you? Do you know what you're feeling in this moment? Do you know where you are? Check in with yourself. All our listeners out there, wherever you are, whether you're on the road or at home, this is meditation. So you're doing it. You're doing it right now. So again, don't separate things thinking that, meditation or your spiritual practice is something separate. It's in the now. It's life. It's what you're doing here. So that is the most important thing that I really like to invite you guys to practice. And that's going to be very helpful in this coming year, in the next couple of years.
Interesting. Does it work all the time, though?
Yeah. And I invite you to test it, maybe by the next year when we're having our next show. I'd love to check in with our listeners. Try this month. Do a 30-day challenge. I have a lot of 30-day challenges on my YouTube channel, but you guys check it out. Bring 3 minutes a day. I mean, that's nothing. 3 minutes a day. How much time do you spend on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or listening to the radio, right? Take 1 minute of stillness throughout your day for the next 30 days and notice this change. You're more calm. You feel like you have more choices, and that's what I want. I want the human to remember that you're sovereign, that you have free will. If you don't start practicing your free will, all the parasitic consciousness around us will use you as a host to play as it will. So keep in mind that this is a whole movement that we're doing of awareness that is meant to change and shift our reality, one person at a time.
Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You continue here on Spaced Out Radio. Geraldine, we only got about 4.5 minutes left with you, as this is your final appearance on this show for 2020, but the good news is you will be back in 2021. For a lot of people, we need contact. We need contact with, our partners. We need contact with our friends, our family. And, due to everything that's kind of going on in the world right now, for some, that's not very possible. How important is physical contact? I'm not saying sexually, but physical contact in order to help raise the spirituality and vibration that we should have as humans. Because we are, the type of people where we need that type of humanity within us.
Yes, physical contact is really important. I mean, especially a hug, right? A hug has been scientifically proven to literally raise the endorphins in such a way where it's causing healing effect in your body. So, it's important to do that. But I don't want to confuse you with the idea that, some of us, especially during quarantine, we live alone. Like we're not around a lot of people. So remember that you are your source of all of that, okay? You have to, that's number one. So this is for people that don't come in contact with a lot of people right now. You are your source of love, of unconditional connection. It begins and ends with you. Now, if we can come into contact, and we do come into contact, it is a wonderful thing to have that, but only when it comes from a place of love and, of alignment energetically. You don't want to connect with someone that's not in alignment with you just for the thrill or the connection or the desperation of wanting to connect with another person. I see that a lot. So be aware that anyone that we come in contact with, we're in resonance with. We're in resonance even before we come into contact with them. But because we're unaware, sometimes we're directing with the wrong frequency. We're directing from fear frequency. So the more that you can become aware of what you need and why you need that contact, you'll be able to choose wisely when you connect with one another and how that exchange happens, whether it's with your partner or your family member. you can change the way that you experience the relationship. And that's what you want to do. We want to nurture and foster relationships that are compassionate towards one another. So that's what I would say.
All right. So with about 90 seconds or so left with you tonight, what is your plan personally for 2021?
For 2021, I don't have resolutions. I don't believe in resolutions. I act in the now right away, and I follow my intuition, and I find that I get a lot more done that way. But there's a lot of really exciting things that I do have planned. I have a 0-point retreat coming up. And it's about the embodiment of the 0 point, training yourself to embody a non-judgment. What does that mean? What does that look like, whether in relationships or in your career life? So we're working with a lot of people that are, business people from all around the world that are looking to learn how to do that. So if you want to do that, it's February 19th. It's my birthday weekend. I'd love for you to join if you come join us for that. I'm also going to be speaking at the Human Origins Conference and the Bases UK December conference this December. I think it's the 15th, or I'll put the date up on my website. You guys can check it out. And I'll be very happy to contribute to that and connect with you there. So I look forward to seeing you at those events. Oh, and also I'll be at Portal to Ascension talking about the hybridization program later on this month. So if you guys want to check that out, it's going to be on my wall and on my website. Subscribe and connect with me.
We love it. We love it. Geraldine, I want to say a big thank you for everything you've done for this show here in 2020. I think you're absolutely amazing. You are one of my best friends in this field, and to be able to bring you on a monthly basis just to hang out and talk everything from ETs and alien contact to everything around our own personal health on the spiritual you, it is just a blessing, and I look forward to you joining us once again in 2021. Thank you for everything you do for this show.
Thank you so much, Dave. It's an honor to be here. You're one of my best friends as well, and it's just great to be able to work with you in the field. So to everyone that's listening, thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing Christmas and a Happy New Year. Much love, Dave.
Much love. GeraldineOrozco.com is Geraldine's website. We absolutely love her. Coming up next, we're going to join up with Shane and the Shift, going right across Canada. We got the Thought of the Day. We have the News Wire. A jam-packed final half hour of this show next. Way to go, Geraldine.
All right. Thank you so much. What a fun show. I really enjoyed it so much, and I will see you soon.
Absolutely, and I will definitely reach out before Christmas, and we'll talk to you very soon, my beautiful friend. Thank you.
Okay. All my love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Geraldine Orozco, everyone. Let's see if I could get freaked out here by Vancouver. I don't know if I think I'm ready for this one. Totally think I'm ready. Let's go here. And where's my Thought of the Day here? There it is. Do 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 do. Excuse me. Excuse me. I yawned. There we go. I hope I can get into the chiropractor on Thursday. I really do. My chiropractor's only in town 2 days a week, and I didn't get to see him today. So now I have to wait till Wednesday. Got to try and find a massage therapist, too. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Oh, there's Vancouver. Hey, Vancouver.
Hey, Mr. Dave Scott, Spaced Out Radio. How you doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, how's what are we chatting about tonight?
We're talking Bigfoot stuff, Bigfoot controversy.
Ooh, that's my favorite kind of controversy.
Yeah, man. You know, if you oh, it sounds like crap, I know, but gee whiz, can't have Bigfoot controversy. You know, what can you have in this world? What can you have?
What can you have, indeed? All right, cool. So I've got 2 minutes till we're back on this side. We'll hook up at 36 as normal. If you hear any music when we come to you, don't be alarmed. I'm just trying out a musical bed.
Okay. Well,
it's actually a chopped up.
Go ahead.
Or would that interfere with things on your end?
It shouldn't, because I've got you guys potted down while I'm reading my stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, yeah, no, if you do end up hearing it, it's a sort of a mixture of Rush and Hawkwind, so.
You made
so it should be pretty.
Yeah. All right.
Should be pretty spacey.
Is this your last week?
Oh no, I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, I okay, never mind. That's cool.
All right, we'll be with you at 36 here.
All right, talk to you then. All right, we got them on hold. Vancouver's on hold, everyone. Vancouver's on hold. If you're going to hit the gym 4 hours a day, get used to it, Dave. I don't have 4 hours for anything. God, I like even this look here. It's not pretty, but this only takes about 12 minutes, if that. Maybe more like 4 minutes. I just wanted to sound like I put some time into it, you know? That's all. I don't know. Who am I? All right. I like it when we hook up with Vancouver. I do. I think it's one of those cool things that we do. Not a lot of other shows do that. But we will, darn it. Of course we will. All right, guys. Thank you again to the Forces Strong, Vinny, Ann, and Long Island Bigfoot for the Super Chats tonight. Remember, you can get all of your SOR swag by going to facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Great shirts there. You can order them up today. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. I want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. We're going to head over to Vancouver now, because we're going to join Shane and the Shift. Because we do this all the time here on this show every Tuesday, where we get to bring the weird and strange right across Canada with Big Shane. I don't know if he's hearing us or not, but they'll.
I am hearing you.
Oh, are you? Yeah. Look, you see, I'm trying to give you a nice promo here. You know.
I see that, and we actually have a bingo board here where we're like, what's Dave going to promo this time? Because you're like the promo king, so we always like to wait and see what your promo is going to be.
Oh, dude,
before we start here.
You got to let me in on that. We could split the profits.
Oh, hey, shh, don't say that. They can hear us.
Oh, I'm sorry. How you doing, man? Hey, first off,
I'm good, brother.
First off, congratulations on officially being named the new host of The Shift, man. I was really proud to hear that. I consider you a good friend of radio here, and from all of us at Spaced Out Radio Land to you at The Shift, congratulations on your new position, man.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much, Dave. I know that it was a lot of work to get here, and we're happy to be here. And I, at this time, can also introduce you to somebody new to the show. Matt MacArthur, our technical operator. He is he's my rock, and always has been since I started filling in on the shift. Matt's going to, be the music man and the button pusher of the show, like he's always done impeccably for the last couple of years. Ryan O'Donnell is the new show producer for our show. We're kicking Jason back to daytime. He apparently wants to have a life.
What's that like?
But Jason already has another job that we stole him from, and so he's going to go back to that one. And Ryan O'Donnell is the show producer, and he's here as well, Dave, too.
Excellent. Well, it's a great team, and I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite times of the week when we get to hook up with you guys and introduce some real weird and strange stuff to your audience. And, we've gained a lot of new listeners on our podcast. I never tell them to listen to the live show because, you're on the air and we can't steal your audience that way. But, but I could tell in the podcast and on social media, I think this is a lot of fun on both sides, and looking forward to continuing this through 2020 and right into 2021 and wherever it goes, my friend.
Absolutely. It's one of our favorite times, too, because we get to look into the pieces of the puzzle that we don't always get to take time for, and it's the fun and playful for some, and those exact same topics are very serious and very real for others. So the cool part is it's one topic that gets viewed many different ways, and we appreciate it. So, Dave Scott, spacedoutradio.com, where are we going to go this week?
We're going Bigfoot, man. And I had a guest on last week, a gentleman out of the beautiful state of Missouri named Carter Bouchard. He's a Bigfoot researcher, part of a group called the Bigfoot Research Organization. And there is also a BFRO Canada group up here that goes right across Canada, where all of these people try to bring a scientific look, so-called, to the Sasquatch research. Now, for a lot of people out there, you don't realize that there are sightings right across Canada of this big, hairy, wild man-type creature that stands anywhere from 7 to 10 feet tall, up to 300, 400, 500 pounds or more in weight. And they are very, very mystical. They are very, very influential in the Indigenous and First Nations communities around Canada. And this is something where, there's a couple of things that really, really fired me up in talking to Carter Bouchard this past week. And I figured, we could bring a little bit of Bigfoot politics into the night for you, Shane, because it's not something that we talk about a lot. We try and get some weird and strange in, but this one kind of irked me a little bit, and I got to tell you, I wanted to talk with you about it because I think you could, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but Bigfoot politics.
Okay. There's one thing, I have a couple of questions, which
Sure.
is kind of cool. First thing, something I've learned I did want to share with you, because you said in Missouri, we do a segment on our channel here in St. Louis on KMOX there,
Yes.
and I've learned, just to be clear, that if you're talking about St. Louis, Missouri, that would be accurate, but if you're speaking about the rural areas
Missouri.
of Missouri, it's Missouri.
Yes.
And if you're inside the city, it's Missouri. If you're outside the city, it's Missouri. So I think that we, in the integrity of trying to be accurate, I just wanted to share that with everybody because it was new to me. You're talking about the Bifro. Now that sounds like a boy band that Jason would listen to in his Veloster. But what is Bifro, and what does it have to do with Bigfoot?
Well, Bifro, I like that better. It's called the Bigfoot Research Organization. This was founded in the United States. There is a group here in Canada that actually breaks down Sasquatch research, and their mantra is to talk about bringing the scientific reality of Bigfoot to the public, proving that this creature actually exists. And here's what I found out, though. And if you're into Bigfoot, I'm going to suggest something that's a little controversial here. Don't file your report to them. And here's why. Number one, we don't know what this creature is. For those who have experienced it, and I've seen two. I've seen two within 100 feet of me. And they are massive, man. They are big, and you feel real small and intimidating around them. But they recognize this creature as the North American ape. Now, if you recognize something as a full-fledged ape or forest creature, that means that you know what it is. That means you have already looked into this creature and said, we have concluded scientifically that North America has an ape. And first off, that's terrible research. Terrible research. And let me tell you why. Number one, we don't even know if this creature exists. Number two, for those who do believe it exists, and I fall into that category, we don't know what kind of creature it is. First Nations right across Canada, many of them believe that it is either a shapeshifter, a wild man, potentially a medicine man that has gone rogue, or something a little bit more supernatural. Not an ape. Not an ape.
Let me ask a question about that.
Sure.
So we've shared many stories about Skinwalker Ranch.
Absolutely.
Here on this segment, and the descriptions of the Skinwalker, the Navajo culture, was the medicine man, sort of the rebel that withdrew from the group. Exactly the same kind of thing that you're talking about. So is it possible that, the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, the Yeti is the same storyline as the Skinwalker?
It could very much be. I think they are two separate creatures. All right? I really do. The Skinwalker being a lot more nefarious than Sasquatch. There are many who believe that Sasquatch is part of the fairy realm, almost being the caretaker of all the creatures in the forest. There are many who believe that it is a flesh and blood creature. But when you stereotype something or any type of research, and the one thing that I have a real problem with in the paranormal is there are too many researchers out there who are conducting opinion and hiding it as scientific fact. And that is dangerous for anything that we do in this field. Reason being is science is about proving or disproving theory if you break it down to its lowest common denominator. And when you have people out there saying we are searching for a flesh and blood ape, even though the footprints may give you that opinion, until it is actually discovered, we do not know what it is. And we shouldn't estimate or guesstimate what this creature is, especially if there are weird scenarios happening. Here's another strange one with this BFRO and BFRO Canada. Let's say, for instance, there are a number of people out there, and we've had them on our show, who claim to have had Sasquatch encounters, but all of a sudden something paranormal happens, or all of a sudden a UFO shows up, or something strange along those lines. What we have also learned, and I'm waiting for confirmation on this, is that allegedly the BFRO throws away people's reports if it has anything to do with something supernatural, because they think it hurts the credibility of the organization. So let's say, Shane, you see a Bigfoot, and right afterwards you have a UFO experience where a black triangle flies over your car. Little weird, right? So you're going to go wherever, you're going to go online and you're going to say, okay, where can I try and get some information on this? Who can I talk to about this? And all of a sudden BFRO pops up, and the next thing you know, your report is nowhere. You don't hear from any of their researchers again after you file your report. You're going to feel all alone. You're going to feel like, well, that was a waste of time, and you're looking for answers and nobody is getting back to you because you saw a UFO along with the creature. And these groups, they don't believe that there is any significance between the two. But the one thing that we have learned in the paranormal is nothing is normal. Nothing is normal. So to try and conduct any type of opinion over research is not only playing with the public, but it's also playing with what this creature really is. And the truth of the matter is, we don't know anything. So for your audience, you see a Bigfoot, beware of who you send it to.
There's a couple of things there that sort of hit me, and there's a text that's come in with a question. Now, I don't want to diminish your story, but I think it gives credit to the story. I mean, we all, I think, were introduced, regular consumer people, to Bigfoot with the movie Harry and the Hendersons.
Yes.
And you just said that it's possible that Bigfoot is sort of the keeper of the creatures, right? Protector of the creatures?
There's some who believe that, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, so that would lead a little bit of that storyline, because that storyline was, that's why he needed to go home, was because he had to take care of all the little birds and all the little bunnies. You know, they all came to Harry, and he took care of everybody. I mean, so it is possible that woven through the Hollywood narrative around all of this, there is some sort of, at least belief system behind it. I think that's pretty kind of cool. That, you know, maybe some of our notions about what is Harry and the Bigfoot are founded on some of the things that people that are in this world have discovered. So I think that's kind of cool to think that could connect. The text that came in that does connect and ask some questions is that, this is from Dan, it says, so then skinwalkers, Wendigo, Sasquatch could be different creatures, but is it possible it's just the same lineage?
No, I mean, I shouldn't answer that so directly. The true answer is, Dan, we don't know. We do not know. However, in the research, in the people that I have talked to about this, the wild man is what the word Sasquatch basically means. And from there, we also look at the skinwalker / Wendigo, which seems to be a rogue medicine man who's gone a little dark, if that's the way you want to put it. So if you look at both sides and you look at the way that we take this entire phenomena, one would suggest that they are different creatures. But in the end, if any paranormal investigator or cryptid investigator or UFO investigator tries to tell you something is fact, they're usually not very factual themselves.
So if BFRO is not going to help anybody out, to your story of I'm driving along, I've got a black triangle that, you know, spooks me out in the middle of the night, where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do? I mean, it would seem natural that you would be cautious to just toss that on Facebook. But at the same time, wouldn't you just want to get it out in the public and let people consume it so they know?
Well, the point is, when you're editing reports to suit your theories, you're not giving the public what they really need. And that's something that I'm trying to get a hold of somebody with the BFRO to confirm this, because that is a very hasty way to try and garner any attention. And according to this Carter Bouchard, who's a part of this BFRO, he basically stated that he's had some 90 reports that have been kicked or edited because of what they call the woo factor. The woo being anything that is out of the ordinary, supernatural, paranormal. And if they are taking that stance and not allowing those stories, how much information are we really missing on this creature? Because eyewitness testimony is really all we have. There's bad videos, there's bad hoaxes, there's bad CGI. Eyewitness testimony is still the best evidence that we have going out here. And to throw some of those reports in the garbage because they don't suit your prophecy of your group, I think that's dangerous, and I think it's irresponsible for the research of this mythical creature.
It's an interesting notion, as always. It makes us think here on the shift. Dave Scott, thank you very much for sharing the time. Again, spacedoutradio.com is where you can see the article that Dave has written about this specific topic. In fact, in the BFRO, if you want to learn more about it, you can check out his show and his podcast and links from there as well. Thank you, Dave. It's great to hear you, bud. Nice
always
to,
appreciate
nice
you,
to have
my friend. Always appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll have some UFO news next week when we hook up, my friend.
Sounds great. Dave Scott, thank you, sir.
Take care, my friend. Here we go with the news, everyone. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR News Wire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the sad. And why is it sad? Because the Arecibo Observatory has collapsed. Yes, this is horrible news because, you know, the already damaged radio telescope in Puerto Rico played a key role for the last half century on many astronomical discoveries. The telescope's 816-ton receiver platform fell onto the reflector dish more than 122 meters below. The United States National Science Foundation had earlier announced that the Arecibo Observatory would be closed. An auxiliary cable snapped in August, causing a 30-meter gash on the 305-meter-wide dish and damaged it to the point of no return. Then in November, another cable broke. The collapse stunned many scientists who had relied on what was, until recently, the largest radio telescope in the world. It sounded like a rumble. I knew exactly what it was, said Jonathan Friedman, who worked for 26 years as a senior research associate at the observatory and still lives near it. I was screaming. Personally, I was out of control. I don't have any words to express it. It was a very deep, terrible feeling. Friedman ran up a small hill near his home and confirmed his suspicions. A cloud of dust hung in the air while the structure once stood, demolishing hopes held by any of the scientists that the telescope would somehow and could somehow be repaired. This is a huge loss, said Carmen Pantoja, an astronomer and professor at the University of Puerto Rico who used the telescope for her doctorate. It was a chapter of my life. Scientists worldwide have been petitioning U.S. officials and others to reverse the NSF's decision to close the observatory. The NSF said at the time that it intended to eventually reopen the visitor center and restore operations at the observatory's remaining assets, including its 2 LIDAR facilities used for upper atmospheric and ionospheric research, including analyzing cloud cover and precipitation data. What about the aliens? How are the aliens going to communicate now? The telescope was built in the 1960s with money from the Defense Department amid a push to develop anti-ballistic missile defenses. It has endured hurricanes, tropical humidity, and a recent string of earthquakes in its 57 years of operation. All right. I think that's enough news for tonight. Shorten. Captain Shirk won't mind. Let's do this. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. It's beginning of December. What do you really want for Christmas? Canadian Joe. All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. Well, Lord knows you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so you can't ask for a Stanley Cup. Marty in Vegas, one of our favorite veterans. I just want some good old-fashioned woo for Christmas that could get me through next year. And a beautiful clown tonight, Marty. Thank you. Dirty Filth, all the leftover cabbage rolls. You know he's Ukrainian in Alberta. Linda wants a Sky Hub. Foya Boy, Jacques Vallée on Joe Rogan. Hey, what about this show, man? What about this show? Tim. Or let's go to Keith. I want Dave Scott to finally embrace the excellence of breakfast being eaten at any time of the day or night. This enlightenment will lead Dave into a great realm of the woo. No, it will not. I will never eat breakfast for dinner. All right. Pete, I want justice. Bob, all I want for Christmas is a TR3, a TR3. I think he means the TR3B spaceship. Thank you to everybody to participating in the Thought of the Dave. We'll do it all again tomorrow on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you to Captain Shirk for the SOR Newswire, Shane at the shift, and, of course, the lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone participating in our chat rooms on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, and our website, and all the Starkers and Starkettes at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. You were all magnificent tonight. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, say it with me, we owe the night, Mr. Bumblefoot. We need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But tomorrow, my friends, Year 7 will ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, yep, we got room for them too. Good night.